Guys, welcome to another Saturday morning live stream. And what we're going to do today is we're going to start on a brand new, fresh app template where we will build all the features that we want in all of our future apps. So whenever you start on a new software project, you never want to start from scratch, right? You're always going to need a menu and a bunch of other things, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I've got a little bit of echo going on here, so let me mute that. Okay, very good. The weird things that happen during live streams. So that's what we're going to do today. And Kurt and I believe Rick, you guys saw me just this week. We were talking about there's an open source project out there by Microsoft that allows us to crack open an MS app file and give us some code, and we could do all of our coding in VS Code or Visual Studio, but it actually opens up a lot of really cool stuff. What did you think of that, Kurt? You seemed really excited about it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
One idea, I'm definitely excited about it. One idea that I had is you and I, we could utilize our C# skills and almost create like a little app generator with that tool, So just a reminder, I do have some students here in the private chat. If you want to come on, show your video, and I'll take that as a cue to bring you on. And so let's get going here. I'm going to open up my screen a little more here. So we're definitely going to be doing stuff with PowerApps. Now, I want to provide the link for you guys. If you do a search for, I'll just do it here with you guys. PowerApps, tooling, GitHub. Let's do that. And what we're going to find here, well, the first thing that comes up is PowerApp samples. Well, we'll probably definitely be utilizing and taking advantage of that project to bring in some features into our brand new template that we're going to build. But I'm going to scroll down here, and this is the one that we want. And I'm going to click on this link, and I'm going to share this with you. But I'm just going to click on the root of it, which will take that releases off of there. And I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can see it. Right. So, yeah, very cool. So, Alex says, love the videos and excited to see what you're all doing. So right before we went live, Rick was saying, hey, I just saw the price went up.
Yeah,
boy, it went up a lot. I think it doubled, didn't it?
Oh, man, I'm telling you what. But you know what? Hey, this is really cool, though, Darren. Can I say something about that?
Please do.
Hey, it's, like Darren said, it went from $1 whole to, well, you can't see my finger there, $1 whole to $2, man. But you know what? You talk about value. That's an incredible value right there, even at that price. And you had mentioned how so many have already taken advantage of it when it was at $1. And man, I'm telling you what, they're going to get a lot out of this. I think this is really cool that you open this up, and it's gonna be really great for everyone.
So I'm trying to bring it up, and I'm having trouble. So this is the new school. So I have a third. So we have one Learn PowerApps school community out there. Then we have one for all the accelerator students. And then we've got created a third one called PowerApps Templates.
Awesome.
And so I'm trying to get a good link to this. And it is, I've reached level 4. Look at that. So we have 104 members. So once I saw it went over 100 members, I doubled the price. It went from $1 to $2, as Rick was saying there. And once you're in, you're in. Okay, so if you got in, go ahead.
It's still for less than a cup of coffee.
That's right. And of course, I've got to give the obligatory.
Yeah,
you can recover Kurt from his.
Made my Saturday. I'm done.
Oh. Oh,
That-
no.
That was Kurt in a better mood than what he is right now, and I'm just waiting for his coffee to kick in, and he'll turn into the what I call the back Kurt, or the Kurt that that does amazing things, lays golden eggs and does all kinds of cool things. Sometimes I can't even do. I mean, Kurt, like the whole custom connector API thing, I had a hard time with that. I gave that to you, and you like went after it and did an amazing job. And dare I say that is right now the most popular video on my whole YouTube channel.
Well, it was elegant. You know, it was elegant.
It was elegant because everything Kurt does is either elegant or there's a what are the two states of every programmer?
Yeah, zero. You're either a hero or zero, right?
Yeah, you're either a rock star or you just wonder what you're doing at a keyboard. Right? I feel that sometimes too.
Seems like lately.
So Kurt, I know you got a new microphone. Say something to us.
Yeah. So I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit.
Are you
And
serious?
you guys let me know if this is too loud. Maybe I need to turn my speakers up a little bit.
How about Luke? Can you hear me, Lou? Is it? Oh, I don't hear you.
Can't hear Lou.
I can't hear Lou. Lou, we gotta hear you.
Mic checks. Everybody do mic checks. No, I don't know. I'm still trying to learn it myself here.
Yeah.
I've got it like 3 inches from my mouth, so it should be okay. You know?
How's that? I think I had something plugged in that shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear Lou now.
So everybody can hear me okay now?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Darren? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think so. I've got you turned up to 136%.
I wonder what.
So, there's something to be said for. Kurt used to call me Scooter, and sometimes still do. So old Scooter's getting old. I guess his ears and his eyes aren't what they used to be when you first met me when I was in my 20s. Every time somebody shares their screen, I'm like, "Can you zoom in there?"
That's me. I'm like this. Is this thing working?
Kurt, I'm gonna create a little clip out of what you just did there. I wish I had you bigger when you did it, but yeah. So Brock Fab says a tad quiet. So Kurt, I'm gonna turn you up to a full 150. That's as high as I can put you. If
you know what? How about now?
Oh wow!
Goodness,
Yeah,
that sounds great.
I've got to be on top. And you know what? I also if you touch the mic, it goes into mute. So I'm still trying to figure this thing out. It's like this new stuff, this new technology stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I'll figure it out.
So yeah, if whatever.
There.
Oh,
There we
all
go.
right. All right.
There
So
we
now I'll turn you down to 100%.
Like a wrecking ball.
So if you don't mind, Kurt and or Rick, keep an eye on the private chat. I have a hard enough time just keeping the eye on the live chat. So let's see here. Vincent says loud and clear. What's that?
And I just have a hard time just keeping up, period. So, I'm with you guys. Okay.
And guys, when I was a kid, we were so poor, we couldn't even pay attention. But no, not good.
Don't make me tell my cat story again.
Are we going with the dad jokes again today?
Oh,
No, we're doing mom jokes. Do you have one?
don't talk about mom like that.
What other types of? Are there any other types of jokes than dad jokes? I mean,
Well, you got old guy jokes, old man jokes too.
yeah. All right, so I'm sort of curious, guys. Are you able to get at this link here? I'm almost worried that people aren't able to.
I think it's important, Darren, that you talk about what this new group is about. It's like we talk about templates, but what's that mean, right?
That's right. So what I said here, I want to get a copy of all my PowerApps projects, and what I mean by that is moving forward. Once I'm starting from scratch, so it's going to have all the features from the Jumpstart kit. At least that's what I'm planning. But really, what the priority is going to be is what you guys vote on. That reminds me, I need to create a new Microsoft form about this. But I can only have 10 topics at a time. So I'll look through our group here. Here's the link to sign up. Okay, that is working. Okay, very good. So I'm going to put that link over there. So right now, if you sign up today, you can get locked in for just $2 a month, and that is all the money that you'll pay per month forever. So $2, and so it's just going to keep going up as you can imagine. Right now, there is nothing to download, but you're able to interact and be able to request features right now and sort of get in at the ground level. So this is really exciting. So it's just going to go up by $1 gradually, very slowly. So maybe by the end of the year, it will be up to $10 a month or something. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like you've taken something from Microsoft's Azure, and how the Azure, how they get their accounts, where like it's really cheap if you're, it's real cheap if you just use a little bit here. But I got a feeling like what they're going to do is once Lou gets in there really good and she starts depending on it really much, I can talk today.
This is where we need Jeff. Where's Jeff?
That's when they start jacking the prices up, right? Then all of a sudden it's going to be way up there, right? So.
And there's a reason I did it like this. So the two biggest countries my demographics are for my YouTube channel is the US and India. So hey, if you're in India and some of my like my Jumpstart kit right now, I sell it for $250. There are other countries where people love and watch my content, and I want to include them. So I would imagine, $2. If you could take this template and go out there, be a freelancer and compete with me. I charge $250 an hour. So maybe you charge $100 an hour. I would imagine that would be a fairly good wage in anybody's country. $100 an hour is about $200,000 a year if you're working full time. So,
well, these days it's price of a cup of coffee, but
I got in it the first time I saw it. I was like, nope, I'm getting it.
So Lou, you shouldn't have done that. I'm going to refund that for you because you get in completely. Every accelerator student gets in for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then all right.
That goes for you too, Ellie. I see you, Ellie, here. So I do have a link, an accelerator group. And I say, hey, give me your whatever email address you want me to add you as or whatever. And I'll go in and invite you from the group. And you guys will always have access to that. Anybody who gets in the accelerator will get that. So Kurt, what are the highlights of this that are really exciting that maybe other people would be excited about this little program that we created, this third community?
Well, so I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that the community is going to be more than just the program, right? It's going to be more than just this template. It's going to be for lots of like sharing ideas and maybe even other programs, right?
Yes. In fact, I've got this. I have this thing here. Now, I've had this community out here for a while, and I'm like, it's time to do something with this community I have out here. So this is so people can get locked in. So now it's $2. I just raised it this morning.
Right.
The price is only going to go up slowly. So don't worry. Next week, it's not going to be $200 a month or anything. Currently planning slowly. Perhaps I've originally I was thinking about just increasing $1 a day, but there's nothing out there to download. Right now, I've got 3 videos out there on the classroom tab. Okay. And it's only going to increase. Of course, we have the live stream as the third one, but I've got a series here of like an order to watch things in. Okay. And maybe this will just be like an orientation, getting familiar with the main template. And I'm imagining there will be many templates. For example, if you want to have a ticketing system, either somebody or myself, we'll use this template to build a ticketing system, or we'll use it to build an onboarding system or a time tracking. So we'll have a base template, and then we'll have full-blown apps, with all these features. Oh, somebody signed up. Did you guys see that? It played a sound. That's why and I don't think I'm sharing my sound there, but that's really interesting. I'm gonna reshare my screen here, and I'm gonna share the audio. Yeah. Share. There we go. And I think my name is maybe covering that up. Maybe can I get rid of that? Does Restream allow that? I don't think so. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, really the sky's the limit. And really the sky isn't the limit if there are footprints on the moon, right? So if you guys have an idea, throw it out there and we might incorporate it into this this new community. And so I think I've got a few things in here.
And I'm hearing back going on that.
Mhm.
Now okay. Let me. Yeah, that's not going to work out. Me sharing my sound like that. Yeah, you guys are gonna have an echo. Sorry about that.
Okay.
A little sad.
Yeah, I'm sad too about it. What was I going to say? Oh,
That was going to be twice the Kirk.
well, that's why it blew me away. There was so much Kurt there,
But
so,
half the calories.
thank goodness. Yeah, really getting this. So I want to propose that there's more than one kind of template too. Like you're talking about a template for the entire app, but you know how PowerApps even has screen templates and schema templates. So perhaps we can even take that to this. I'm not sure what all the goals were in this, but I'm thinking that there's more than one kind of template, right? So
Yeah. The one that I'm most focused on and interested in is building like the main one that's got all the cool features in it. And then once we get to a place where we got everything that we need, like menus and header bars and some security groups, then we can start doing an offshoot and providing all the files here and everything. So for example, I've got that checklist inspection app out there, and a lot of times I get requests for it. So what I did is use my Jumpstart kit. So I'm like, hey, if you buy the Jumpstart kit, you'll get all of my, the files like that I've demoed here on YouTube. So absolutely. So the first thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is this tooling project. Now, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. I think me and Kurt will be using it quite a bit to crack open MS app files and maybe do some of our coding in there, and then using the same tool to package it back up. So, and to upload it into the group. And we might actually create like a Git repository, which is a great place to keep track of all the changes made to coding files. That would be a good move. And so if you look at this, you can pack and unpack an MS app file. And let me demonstrate this if I can get PowerApps application up here. And I'm going to create a new, fresh, pristine application. I'm going to use the blank canvas here. And I'm just going to do 2 or 3 things just to put some basic things on here. Then I'm going to download the MS app file. I'm going to use that console application that is from that repo, and I'm going to unpack it, and then I'm going to open the code, and we're going to look at it together today. And from there, we are going to have tons of ideas, I know. So I'm going to let's add a button, and let's say Darren's button. Got that going for me, which is nice. And then I've got a label out here. Let's make the background color of this label to be a nice light green. And then I'm also going to add a new screen here. And let's look at some of these responsive templates. Okay, so I might want to have something like that. So I've got all my containers set up for responsive app. Let's add a third one. Kurt, I'm going to let you choose. What do you think would be a good choice here?
Let's do something with a gallery in it.
All right. So we'll do maybe a header and a gallery here. Okay. Now it's giving me some links here at the top. So here's modern template documentation. I'm going to click on that and learn more about their modernization efforts. And then I'm going to close those two things. So we have an app with 3 screens. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this. And I'm going to call it my new template. Save that. Now, it might be a good idea to put something in the app on start, although these days I recommend staying away from the on start. I'm going to put a little comment in here. This is our new template, and I'm not going to put any code. I mean, this is essentially all the code I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to go into formulas. Okay, and Microsoft really wants me to know about this. And I have a feeling it's going to give me a few more pop-ups here before the day is done. And we'll say, here is where we'll put all our, they're called named formulas and user-defined functions.
Well, since you're in there, let's just go ahead and put one in there.
All right.
Let's just do a screen center to screen.
Okay. So we'll say FX center screen. So guys, this is a great way for us to share with each other all these user-defined functions and have them all in a repository where we can call them all from.
I'm thinking it should be center to screen though, because we're not going to center the screen, right? We're going to center our objects in the screen, right?
Center to parent, because it could be inside of a container or something else, right? All right, so help me out, Kurt. Give me the code. I'm just the typer, and you are the coder here.
We're going to need to know the parent size, right?
Now I can't hear you very well. Is the mic still on?
It's on right here. It's right on top of it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, this thing's really sensitive to that. Okay, so you're going to need to know the parent size, the container size, right?
And I think I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while. So you have the syntax?
It's been a minute for me too. So if we got to spend too much time on the syntax of the formula for now, we can go on to it later on.
Well, something we can do is say FX default color, and we'll say color value, and we can put in here a really light gray that I like, which is E5 all the way through for the RGB values. And I can take that, and here on the the screen one, I'll bring over a rectangle. And let's at least use it there. Okay. I'm going to save it. I'm going to publish. And then I'm going to hit F12 on my keyboard. It's ready to download. And I'm going to do a save as and move this out of the way. Create a folder for it, and I'm going to call this live stream files, and I'm going to store it right there. I'm going to open up that folder. Good. So here we go. Now, something we discussed this week, and maybe I can So there is a code editor called VS Code. It's created by Microsoft. I believe it's open source. It was written in JavaScript and or TypeScript. But it's actually a pretty good editor, and a lot of people like it if you don't like the big bulky Visual Studio that coders have known and loved for decades. If you do Microsoft development. So I have it installed. And what I can do is I can go to a folder like this. Let me try to make this as big as I can here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what? Let's open this in code, VS Code. It's going to allow me to pull it down here. There we go. And it's going to ask me if I'm going to trust the code that's in here. I'm going to say, yeah. It's mine, the code that I create or files I create. So this MS app file is actually a zip file. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it is. So I'm going to create a copy. And something else I need to show you guys. I have built the slowest computer I have ever used. This thing is an AMD 12 core, 64 gigs of memory, M.2 drives and everything. And the thing is as slow as a Packard Bell back in 1999, I tell you. Does anybody remember Packard Bell? Maybe I'm revealing how old I am. So I'll rename this as a zip file because that's sort of what it is. Okay. And what I want to show you here in these options, if you go into view, and there's an option here called hide extensions for known file types. And I recommend that you deselect that because it's going to make it much easier to rename a file with an extension like we are here. I'm going to click on the zip. Now within Windows, we'll have an option extract all, which is what I'm going to do here. And I've got something like this. It's going to take a moment. And I'm going to exit out of that there. All right. So now we have a folder with all that code. So I can bring up my VS Code where I've just opened the folder. So you'll see all the folders and files here on the side. I wonder if it'll allow me to zoom in, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Look at this. We have files in here. We got JSON files. Okay. Got a header. Okay. We have a checksum. And does this look easy to edit to you guys? It doesn't look very pretty to me. I guess this is okay. Now I've got a special scroll bar here where it actually shows like a zoomed out version of all the code. But let's go into controls. Oh, look, we've got 4 JSON controls here. Try to zoom in even more. And I'll click on one. What is one? It is the app. So the app object, you got app on start and app formulas. This whole file has all the information, all the code contained for the app itself.
Darren, can I interrupt just a second here?
Please do. Yeah.
I'm gonna step back a little bit. Looking at your controls, you see how you got 1, 4, 7, and 13. You notice that they're in order, right? So I'm thinking what they're doing here is as you're moving, if you go into your Power App on the left-hand side, how you can move to change the order, you can arrange, you can reorder your stuff, like moving a control up to the top of your screen, like your Z order. I'm thinking that's how they're handling the Z order. Because they're not caring about the name of the control, they're caring about the position. You see how that is?
Okay. So what I want to do is sort of show you guys what Kurt's talking about here. So Kurt, we have a screen 1, 2, 3. So what you're saying is whatever order that we have here, if I did the screen 3 and made it go to the top, and I can't use the keyboard shortcut, unfortunately.
I'm actually thinking the controls that are inside the screen is what I'm talking
Oh.
about. So let's go back and look at your GitHub thing that you were just at. So you notice how you got your controls. You see underneath controls, that's probably coming from each screen, right? So
I don't think that's the case. I think the first one is the app, but if you click on 4, this is screen 1.
Okay.
It's sort of a weird file format that a naming convention that they went. And I'm going to show you a better way of getting at this stuff that will make much more sense. Will be much easier to edit. So right now we're not using that tooling project to extract. But I wanted to show that you can get in here without the tool. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do find it interesting, Kurt, that why didn't they just do 1, 2, 3, 4? Why did they jump numbers here? Do you see any pattern?
Yeah, that looks like a Fibonacci sequence, and I'm thinking what that is they're allowing room in between. And I think you're right. I think it's for insertions. They're allowing room for insertions, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm thinking you were right about that. I was at the control level, but maybe it's at the screen level where you can move stuff around. And that might be interesting to see if you can move that screen 3 to change your order of your screens. I don't know. See what it does with that.
Yeah. Well, what's really exciting here in a moment is I want to show you guys what this looks like extracted with that tool, because it's a huge game changer. So I just want to show these other things. We got data sources. Okay, so we've got custom gallery sample. So we created a screen that had a gallery in it. And I guess this is the data source for it. So so we could actually change the name of it. I wonder if it would still work. Have you ever wanted to change your data source off on the under the data sources? I always wish I could. So this might be a way of doing that. Look at that ordered column. Kurt, we can change the order right here. There we got modern themes. Templates, themes. Okay. Now,
that's kind of cool, because then if you want to change something that's inside that theme, let's say you don't like the theme, the scheme of the theme that they're using, you could actually change some of the color in that, maybe, right?
I would imagine so. I wish that I had changed it up a little bit. So I think we have modern themes enabled by default. Okay, as you can see here. And we can create our own theme now. That's sort of cool. So let's Lou, what color should we go with for a custom theme?
Custom theme. I'm thinking the teal. I like the teal colors.
Right. Is that teal right there?
Pretty close. Yeah.
Let's see, teal.
That's because she's by the ocean. That's why she likes the teal colors.
Yes, that is very true.
My wife loves teal and the beach.
Yeah, it is so not Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas, huh? You're not a Cowboys fan, are you?
Everybody's you're a Cowboys fan, aren't you?
Oh, well, I'm a computer nerd. I'm not really into sports, but yeah,
if you're not a Cowboys fan, you're just in denial. That's all.
I lived in Houston most of my life, so I'm Texans and Astros and
very cool.
Longhorns, yes.
Absolutely.
So if I bring over a new button that is a modern button, it's going to pull in that theme there. Okay, so if we were to re-extract this, I'm hoping that it will have our teal theme here, and it would have all the other details that, I just went with the default font, but it should have at least that base color. Now, what I don't like about these new themes is that if I go in here and edit, you'll see we just got one color. Typically with a company style guide, you have colors, you've got accent colors. So I might want to have like a yellow within my my application, but there's really no way to do that. So you'd have to create some variables to hold that type of stuff. Okay. So what I'd like to do from VS Code, there is a shortcut on my keyboard that will do this. If we do a Control tilde, which is to the left of the 1 on your keyboard, hopefully. And there we go. And I am, let's see, I need to get at the project that I downloaded here. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm just going to download it fresh and show you what's involved in this. So I'm going to copy that. And so we got this tooling thing here. And I want to download this. So let's just download the code. And we'll just say download the zip. Does anybody here use GitHub to take a look at other people's code? And anybody? Well,
I never have time. You keep me so loaded up with work. I don't get a minute to go look up that stuff. I don't even get a minute to watch the Cowboys.
I would imagine, Kurt, you probably have 12 screens in that room that you're sitting in, and one of those screens has the Cowboys on there.
It should.
Or 7.
It should.
So how many screens do you have, Kurt? I'm just curious.
True screens, I have 5. But 2 of those are large screens, so you can break those into 2 screens. So that's 7.
I saw pictures of Kurt's new setup. I like it.
Isn't that amazing?
Uh-huh.
It's not quite right yet. It's gonna be though. I have to get another VESA adapter to be able to mount it just right. But I got room for one more screen. Got room for one more.
I need more screens. My better half disagrees, but I need more screens.
It's an addiction, Lou. It's an addiction. I'm in deep. I'm telling you. Don't go down this road, Lou.
He's over here. You got 3. Why do you need more? No, I need more.
Right. That's classic sign of addiction. More. I gotta have more.
So Lou, when I was a kid growing up, my parents owned RV businesses, like dealerships, and so I pretty much lived in a trailer in some form like my whole life until I was like 20 or so. And I would imagine you might need a new slide out in your motorhome there for all these monitors, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now I've kind of taken over the whole kitchen area part of it. That's kind of my office.
Oh,
yeah.
But that's the other side of this. So because of my screens and because I got such craziness going on, I actually have a 12 by looks like 14, 15 foot room, and I've got 3 banquet tables deep now. I in my desk. It's absolutely terrible. So I've got this one little narrow space where I can sit, and everything. I got the entire room just full of stuff, and I got this little spot where I can sit. It's just crazy.
That's part of our dilemma as we're looking for a boat, is making sure the salon has a big enough place for my desk and all my computer screens.
8 monitors.
And 8 monitors, as Dave
8
says.
monitors. Well, I'm thinking Darren's going to get me another graphics card. Then I can go 3 high. And never mind. Anyway,
I'll just get you a new computer. See, with another video card in it or something. Because I think you got like a docking station and everything to get all of them working right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing right now is we went to that link and we downloaded the tooling project as a zip. And right now I'm just extracting it. And I'm going to show you what's inside and sort of how to set it up. This reminds me of the time that I worked with Kurt when we were on Windows 95, and we would move a file out to the network share, And remember the Windows 95, you had like a little document that like moved in the air to another location.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would say like 12 weeks or something like that. I'm like, 12 weeks.
Or
And you would
45
say,
years.
yeah. And you'd say, oh, that's just a randomly generated number.
It was. I would literally see 45 years. At this rate, it's going to take 45. And then it would jump back down to like 5 seconds, you know?
All right. So I've extracted, I keep on going into folder after folder. Now here, we've got all these files. And if you want to read more about it, you can go to the readme.md, which stands for Markdown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the CMD file. Now I'm going to give you a fair warning here. Do not ever click on a CMD or an EXE or a BAT file from someone you don't trust or know, or you might want to make it a practice to open a CMD or a BAT file with Notepad just to see what it's doing, because it could install a Trojan horse or a virus on your computer. But this is Microsoft. We trust Microsoft, right? And I was looking at it earlier this week. So I'm going to.
And as Microsoft's doing this evil laughter in the background. We trust Microsoft.
Now, what I could do is I could pull this CMD file over into a DOS prompt and watch it work. But I've got one even better for you guys. I'm going to open up VS Code again. Remember when I hit Control tilde? Well, it gave me a PowerShell prompt, but we could also look at all these other things. We could do a git bash command prompt, JavaScript, and we could have split windows down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to this new folder that I have. Let me pull this down again. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to click here. I'm going to copy. Hopefully I can paste.
I remember when changing directory used to be easy.
Yeah. Okay. So if I said dir, I mean this is PowerShell. I don't know PowerShell, guys, but I would imagine there are some commands that I know from DOS that should have this here. So I'm going to go into, yeah, these things are folders here. So this is what I'm looking for. And let's say change directory. And I'm going to try to paste that in there. Okay,
I think our heads covered you up.
Oh, no, that's not allowed. There we go. So you guys see what we have there. Now what I'm going to do is I need to bring this folder back up. That go here. Okay. Inside this folder, we have this build.cmd. Okay, so I'll say build.cmd. And let's see what happens here. Oh, we got a problem. Well, you know what? I know it would work in a command prompt. So, oh my goodness. Now we got to do all this again. Nothing's ever easy, Kurt, is it?
Nope.
Okay, now I've got to go into that. Now I'm in there. Now cmd.bat. No, is that right? No.
No.
What was it called?
Oh my.
My short-term memory is horrible, guys.
Build.cmd. Build.cmd.
You were right. And I'm going to copy it.
Thank you.
Kurt, you're not always right, but when you're right, you are really right.
And I really need to be right. So.
Don't we all, though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Brock was trying to help me out here. I wasn't watching. Yeah, needs the double quotes. Yeah. But it looks like it's working. Um, I was about to show the joke, but it's got a bad word. Why do birds fly upside down over Dallas? Because it ain't worth pooping on. Do you like that joke or not?
I don't find it the least bit funny. No. But you know that star on the Cowboys helmet on the Dallas Cowboys, the star. You know what that is? It's not an
I do.
emblem.
Yeah.
It's not a logo. It's a rating.
That doesn't sound flattering to the Cowboys, Kurt.
No, it's funny. It's good stuff though.
All right, so we ran that that file that will execute commands. I'm going to bring this back up if it will come up. You could open this notepad and see what it did, but it built the program. Kurt, what does it mean to build a program?
It's when you're compiling you're linking everything together, all the different modules, you're linking them together, and then you're compiling it into.
What does compile mean?
It means moving it from our interpreted language, our understanding the source code, down to the binary code that a computer can generate. Was that a test? I hope I passed.
No, I mean, you taught me most of what I know about basics of programming, compiling. So it takes our source code, well, in this case, Microsoft's source code that they've graciously shared with us that was written in C#, and it's going to turn it down into an executable file that a processor can run, which will be hopefully zeros and ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really creates the zeros and ones or if it uses .NET to interpret it. I'd have to look into that. It changes over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. With an interpreted language, it might. Yeah, but I think the important thing a lot of people don't understand is that it's a two-step process, because you have to link everything together, and it goes into an assembler, and that's where that linking happens, and then it goes into a compile, that's where it converts that hex into binary. Because like imagine you got components, you got screens, you got all these different modules that sitting out there. You got to put them together somehow, right?
Like it.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Back in the day, in C++, you would like include other header files, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to use libraries. I mean, think of what we do in PowerApps. There's all kinds of libraries that we're pulling in, but it takes care of that for you. But if you're like a full stack developer, you've got to pull in certain libraries for things to work. So as Kurt was describing it, you're pulling in all your references, and then it's compiling everything down so it can be run.
Yeah.
So it did that. Now, what I wanted to show you guys, I want to make sure you guys fully understand this. So here in this folder, we ran this, and then it created this bin folder, which is short for binary, and it created debug. So it built it, or it compiled it with a bunch of debug symbols. Now, if you're creating a production app, you would have another folder, and it's been too long since I've written a Windows app. I don't remember. It might just be called prod. So I'm going to go into debug, and let's see what's in here. So this open source project called PowerApps Tooling, there's like different programs in there. Okay. PA model, maybe that has to do with model driven. I don't know. I need to check it out. We got persistence, but this SOPA, PA SOPA is the one that I'm interested in. So I'm going to go into that folder and see what we have here. Okay. We got a bunch of folders for languages. But what I'm going to do here in this view is I'm going to go to list so we can see more at once. And what I'm looking for is this pasopa.exe.
So what does SOPA stand for? It's not soup, right? It's not Espanol for soup. It's something different, right?
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm hoping that somewhere in their documentation they explain what that is for.
I've seen it in recent years, but I've never really had
Yeah.
time to look into it. Maybe somebody out there knows what it is.
Well, back in our day when .NET came out, Kurt, we used to write things with XML in a SOAP envelope, and SOAP stood for Simple Object X. I don't remember.
That might be, but that might be what we're dealing with here too.
Of course, I believe Jason has replaced a lot of that XML stuff. Okay,
You would
so
think. Oh, you would think
Yeah.
it would. But yeah.
yeah. So I did a change directory and I went into this SOPA, and now I'm going to say dir to list out all of the folders and files. And you'll see that we do have this sopa.exe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say sopa, and I don't think that we need to do the .exe. It's just going to understand that maybe. And then we're going to give it parameters to, let's say, an MS app file that we want to crack open and look at. So I'm going to go here. And with that command, I'm saying, hey, call this sopa.exe. And the file that I want to use is a few directories up. And I've got a folder here for live stream files. And here's my new template.msapp. Now, how are we going to call this properly here? We're going to go back to the documentation. If I can find it here, there we go. And I'm going to scroll down, and here's where the documentation starts. Okay. So apparently I should have said install rather than use that CMD file, so you could do that instead. To unpack an MS app file, this is what we need to do. So I'm going to... Is that the name of the exe? Just pack? Source.
I just asked my friend Chatty about SOPA, and it says it is a result of a build process that's likely tied to an executable, the end result. So,
Well, you just cheated using Chatty.
yeah. Well, that's because I was told that AI is not going to take away jobs for programmers, but you may lose your job to a programmer who knows how to utilize ChatGPT.
That's right. I think Shane Young actually said that when I was interviewing him a few weeks back. But yeah, I think it's going to be like using a calculator. It's like, yeah, you need to learn how to do math, but well, back when I was a kid, you had the teacher saying, "You're not going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time." That's exactly what I have in my pocket all the time now.
Yeah, but then I remember a few months ago you had to do some division and you couldn't find your calculator.
Thanks, Kurt.
Which is exactly what happened to me. I actually had to have my fourth grade son do the division in a bowling. We were all bowling averages, and I said, "Well, let's go figure out our averages." And I'm like, I can't remember long division. And so I had my son who was in fourth grade at the time. He was doing long division. He says, "I'll do it, Dad."
That's why you gotta have a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay, so Brock says PowerShell likes to have the file extensions. All right. Okay, so I've got a bad parameter. Okay. This is part of the reason I jumped at PowerApps, and part of the doing software development these days, it's all about getting all these libraries to work and getting your environment configured before you can code. And I spent more time messing with errors and looking into how I can get things to work together than I was coding. I didn't like it. And maybe I'm just not good at that type of stuff or something. But so I am going to find that window again. And I'm just going to copy their stuff right here. And I am going to open this back up. And I'm going to paste it here. And I'm hoping Just going to go back. That I can just drag the MSApp file over here. And I'm hoping that this works. Oh my goodness. Bad parameter. Okay, so maybe I have to give it that folder name. Yeah, I did that yesterday. So we've got, okay, I'll hit Alt up arrow, which would work in a command line prompt, but here it does not work. Okay, so I'm gonna try to repaste that. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that that MSF file that's giving me so much grief. I'm gonna copy and paste, and it wants it to be called from app. So I'm gonna call it from app. If my system can copy and paste a file, call this from app, and I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna go into the tooling master, go in there, and I'm gonna go into the bin directory. Into SOPA. And this is where I want. I'm just going to paste it here. And I'll wait for my system to actually move the file. And there it is. And to source folder, I'm going to call this I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it to source folder, and hopefully be done with it. Enter. Do you guys feel like a hacker? I sort of do. All right, so it did that. Let's go into the Windows Explorer here. And I don't see the files there. So I'll go up one level. It actually did create it. It just took a moment to refresh. Okay, so before we open this, actually, I'm going to see if I can get 2 instances of VS Code. That would be nice. So I can show you a comparison between these two. Yeah. There we go. That down. And I'm going to get rid of the terminal. There we go. I'm going to go into this. Okay, so you see unpacked, I've got assets. So if you've uploaded any images, multimedia files into your PowerApps application, you'll see those here. So guys, if you want a bunch of, I would recommend SVG files, which are actually text files. And then the graphics are actually created with math. They're not a bitmap, and they're not rasterized. They're vector type of graphics. So instead of having just an image of a circle, you'd say, hey, draw a circle here with the, this radius or whatever. And they're very small. So I would recommend uploading all your SVG files that you like to use in every app in here. So you notice over here a few minutes ago, we went into this folder called controls, and we had 14713. So what do we have here? Well, we got connections, data sources, entropy, other packages, and then we got SRC, which is short for source code. Look at what we have here. Now, instead of 1.json, we have an app.yaml. and that is a markup language. I don't know what the Y and the A stand for. If somebody's in the comments that knows what YAML stands for, feel free to share that with us, but I'm not going to take time to go Google it or anything. Now, this is an issue I had. The PowerApps YAML language server crashed 5 times the last 3 minutes. Okay, it won't be restarted. Okay. Very good. I'm going to close that down. So before, our files were all JSON, but now we've got this new file format called YAML. Look at this. Here is our app.formulas. Here's our app on start. We're using the PowerApps theme because we hadn't created Lou's new custom theme before we extracted it. So that's the theme that it's using. And then look what we have here, Kurt. Did you know that the app object has these 5 events? I knew they had events, but I really didn't pay too much attention to them. But on cancel, on edit, on new, on save, on view. Oh, that's for the host object. Okay. Let's go to screen 1. Let's see what we have here. Okay, there's our button. You know what? I should probably make this a bit bigger for you guys. And let's move us down here. Let's get rid of this terminal. There we go. Okay. So there's our button. Button 1, label 1. Then we have a rectangle. Now, what's exciting to me, guys, is look at this Z order. You can't modify the Z order in PowerApps. So you could modify it here, which is nice. Let's go to screen 2. Okay, we got a little bit more going on. I'm gonna move our faces to the side so we don't cover anything up. And then
I'm just wondering, Darren, how many people out there don't know what Z order is?
Oh, yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, it's your tab. It's the order in which your tab goes from one control to the next. So if you have, like, let's say you got a name and you want to go from last name to first name and then street address. So the Z order is the order in which when you hit your tabs, it'll go across that way, right? Is that what we're talking about?
It's a little different. Let me pull. What's that?
I was thinking tab index. I'm sorry, I went to tab index. I meant Z order. Z order is when you go from top down, right? From what's going to be the top item in the thing.
That's right. So if I wanted this button on top of this rectangle, okay, there's a key combination with control square bracket, and I can bring that all the way to the top. Or you can click on one of them and say, boom, reorder. You can say bring to front. So that's what the Z order when you got different things.
Yeah.
And I know what you mean, Kurt, because in Visual Basic, when we were creating Windows programs, we had a tab. Each control would have a tab index. Am I thinking about that right? We had that back then, right? And then we didn't. I don't know that we messed with anything. We didn't call it Z order, but in cascading style sheets for the web, it literally is called Z order.
Z order. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your top down order instead of your left right order.
What's that?
It's your top down order instead of your left right order.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I don't want to use this one. That was the old view. I want to use this one that we unpacked. But here's all these properties. Look at this. So we're on screen 2, and we have a screen container. So this was our responsive screen, guys. So you see that we have a container. And look at this. We've got like a namespace. And then boom, vertical auto layout container. And here's all this stuff. The parent.height, layout, align items, stretch. Now, Mike, what I'm wondering about, guys, this is where it gets really exciting. Do we have something in PowerApps called layout direction that we can modify in PowerApps?
We do.
Okay, so we do. What I'm excited about is if we have Yeah, horizontal, vertical. I wasn't even aware that that was there, or that was the enumeration. But I'm excited about things that we normally can't modify in Power Apps, in the Power Apps Studio, that we can modify here, like the Z order. But it's sort of like, if you guys ever watched the movie The Matrix, there were people inside the Matrix, and then there were people that could just see all the code in the Matrix. So you're getting extra information, or a better view of what's really going on. So here's the third screen. Okay, and then we got themes. So current theme is default theme. The default theme. So this is an example where we could probably change things where we normally couldn't. Yes, look at this. So when we create a custom theme, what we could do, we just pick one color and it creates a whole theme. All the colors are based on that one color, like having different shades of it and stuff. But look, we got RGBA. So that tells me that I can go in here, crack this MSAP file open, and do other colors for these different. So we got primary color 1, primary color 2, transparency. This type C, maybe the C is for, I don't know what that is. I was about to say control, but no, these are properties of a theme. Okay. And let's click on some of this other stuff. So that was just the source folder showing all of our screens. And we can click on these JSON file here, which is the manifest. A manifest file within a package is going to tell you, hey, this is everything that's included in this package. So app creation source. Okay. There's all kinds of cool stuff we could change here.
Another thing I'm thinking about with that theme, I'm not moving as fast as you are here. My mind's still back over here when you had all those colors listed. But what I was thinking in there was that you could actually, that would tell you all the different areas of a theme. Like, so you got, your background color, your font colors and all that. So this would actually show you all the different ones that you need to consider when you're creating a theme,
Yeah.
all those different areas,
Absolutely. So maybe in our template, what we can do, guys, is we can create 50 different themes for you to choose from.
Right.
Instead of just having the default 6. and we could like vote on it. Like, hey, here's the main 10 themes, and here are like the next 10 most desirable themes, and we'll put them in there in the order in which people like them. Right. So anything other, Kurt, you were saying, your mind was still on a few things that we were talking about a few minutes ago. Is there anything else that
nope,
we want to take extra time looking at?
No, but I reserve the right to go back if my mind comes up with something else.
Absolutely. Brock says, maybe it's slow because your OneDrive on an external drive. They're all M.2 drives. Now, I am syncing up with about 6 different OneDrives. So there's that. Maybe. I don't know why my computer's slow. I'm ready to reformat it and just install Windows 10. Windows 11 looks nice, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it sort of slows down a system a little bit or a lot. Okay. So that's something to look at. Now, I want to tell you guys about some other open source projects that are going to come in really handy here. Okay. I want to share with you this template that was created by a fellow MVP. And so I'm going to bring this down here. Maybe I'll just make it as different. I'm going to share this link with you guys. Okay. So I'm going to open up his profile. His handle is I am mancat. And I think he's got his website or something here. If you do a search, it's actually up there, in my opinion, with my favorite blogs out there for Power Apps. So if I say I am mancat, cat, I'll say Power Apps, I'll say blog, and I also say template, because he's had a template out there for a long time, and he's released it under an open source license. It's an MIT type of open source license, which means that I can't give legal advice here, guys. I'm not a lawyer, okay? But I think of an MIT license, hey, you can do anything you want with it, including packaging up and reselling it. If you want to make money that way, you can do that legally. He's opened it up so that you can do that. The only restriction is any licensing information that he already has there. You need to leave that alone. You need to keep that intact. Now, that doesn't mean that your project becomes open source. It just means that component that you were able to bring in there, and you can modify the code, but you need to keep that license that he has in there. And so anyway, this was released back in 2022. What's nice about this template, guys, is all the plumbing and things that he has set up. I don't care too much for the look and feel of the template. But all this stuff that he has in there is really good stuff. So he was actually ahead of his time by creating a loading screen. So instead of having things in the app on start, he says, hey, we'll just put that into the very first screen that's got a progress bar, which I think he used now we have a progress bar control with the modern controls, but back then what we had was a slider, and I believe that's what he's using in this case. And he's got some information showing on the screen. And it doesn't mean our screens have to look or feel like this, but look at this. So this is the home screen of his template. And this is, I believe he's sort of using this as like an initial, I don't want to call it a dashboard, but almost like a home screen that sort of serves as a menu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's got a few screens in there. And so he shows the different screens. And there are 4 global variables: this theme, font sizes, control theme, and control font sizes. What is so great about this template, guys, is that it will allow you to, when you change the theme, you're actually able to use the insert menu that you've defined. So you've got those global variables. And if I go in here and insert a regular button, okay, now it's called a classic button. And if I had set up a theme with his template, it would bring over the colors that would be needed for that. So that's a feature that I really like in this template that we build together. So this is code that is shown in his app.onStart. So yeah, we've got a global variable, and it's got all of these things that any new default control that you insert from the insert pull down menu within PowerApps Studio will already have those colors. So remember that weird blue color that we always get with the classic date picker? It's always got that blue or whatever classic theme that you picked. So I always go with the gray theme, and I really don't like that gray color that they have because it's not a true gray color. This will allow us to change that. So let's see where we can download this. If you downloaded before March 1st of 2004, please re-download. Okay. Well, that was about 2 months ago. So he's recently updated this. There's the link to the template. And then, I'm going to get this copy link address. I'm going to share this in the chat. Now, there are other really cool things about this. For example, do you see on his screen here, he's got an A, and you got an up and down arrow. So the user the user can, while they're using your app, they can increase or decrease the font size dynamically by hitting that. And I think that little eyeball icon is for changing it from a light theme to a dark theme.
Mm.
That's sort of cool. So
Yeah.
some users like a light theme, some
Mhm.
users like a dark theme. I like a light theme because typically when I'm in a meeting and I don't have all these lights on, it sort of illuminates my face, so I don't need to turn these lights on. So there's that. You guys have any questions or comments about this this cool template that he created? I sort of want to get his real name so I can, let's see if he's got on the maybe the contact me. But he's very active on Twitter. So let me open that up. So you guys should, okay, yeah, Sancho Harker. So I would recommend that you guys follow him. Good stuff. He creates a lot of good content. There is also another content creator. Let me go right to the theme here. So this was done by Bold Digital. So here's Michael Wright, and they're using his template, and then what they did was they sort of took a lot of the screens out and added their own screens that they liked. So we could start from that, but I'm sort of inclined to use Sancho's template at this point if he has recently updated it. So maybe there were some new properties or something that he kept that updated with. So I'm looking for the download link, and maybe it's, if you want to read the full write-up, okay, that's why we should go there. But I think, here we go. There's the MS app file. Let's get it. Download it right there. Now, what I'm going to show you guys, let me just demonstrate how cool his template is for a moment. So I've got this saved. I'm going to open up a new window here. And open up this sandbox, which is a sandbox between me and Kurt. And how I import an MS app file is really sort of funny. Go ahead. Did somebody say something? No. I'm going to create a blank new app that we're not going to save. We're going to throw it away. But we need to go into an app. Now, if you guys know a better way of doing this, please let me know. Type it up in chat. I'd love to know a better way. But from here, I can just say Control O, which is the universal Windows key combination to open files. I'm going to say Browse, and I want to go find it. And let's go in MS app, and then we'll say live stream files, and then there it is. I am Mancat branding template 3.4. And then we're not going to save the throwaway project that we just created. A refresh is required. Okay. Disable component behavior property return type check is on because one or more components, behavior properties, event, or action have mismatched return types. Okay, so maybe I will look into that. Disable it. Is it telling me to disable it, or is it telling me that it disabled it?
I don't know.
So yeah, we'll need to look into that and resolve that because I don't want.
It's on because so there must be some kind of a disable component behavior property return type check.
I'm following along with you, and I got the same thing. So I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Tired?
There it is, right there.
Oh, and it's a retired feature. This setting disables component behavior properties. Event or action from checking the formula's type against. Okay. So this is the project. I am going to save this. So I have a pristine copy, an untouched copy. I haven't modified anything in this project yet. And I'm just going to leave it as is. So now I'm going to do save as, because this will be, I'm going to save. Template. I'll call this super power. We like to have superpowers, right? In our jobs.
It's super. Shay.
I was saying, is somebody whistling?
Your mic's working, Kurt.
And
Yeah,
that's what we said the other day. The hardest part of coding is naming things.
It is. It really is. Because you better get it right.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll pay for it.
Yeah.
In the future, over and over again. I think there's a book on Amazon about naming things in IT. So I'm going to call it Superpower Labs template. And you know what? Let's create versions, shall we? V1, or what we should do, Kurt, V20. This is my favorite way of creating version numbers. I'll say 0427. So when you download it, you know when it was last updated. So I'll save that. And it does not like dots, apparently.
Huh.
Try that again. And now we're fine. Okay. Now, I probably won't use the screens, but I'm going to keep them in here for now. And I'm going to create a brand new screen. And you notice that any screen created in this project has a blue color. I don't know that I like that. So we're going to have to crack it open and figure out how to change that. So this is something that cracking open the MS app file and modifying it, I've got a screen one, and I've got to do this over and over again. What I would love is for that key combination, control right square bracket, to move that up. That would be nice. But nope, I've got to sit here. If I have 50 screens, I've got to wait. I got to do this 50 times.
Another reason to use pop-ups.
Oh, my toddler wants in. How you doing, baby boy? Hey, Nicole. Come out in a little bit, okay? My son is fairly autistic. He's nonverbal, and he likes coming in here, and he'll just look at all my lights, and he'll put his hands over his mouth and go, oh, every time he comes in here.
Awesome.
He's just like, oh, this is amazing. And I bought this lava lamp for him, thinking that he would love to just stare at it. The one thing I think he would love, and he doesn't even look at it, he's like, he just goes on and looks at other things. He loves ceiling fans and light fixtures. Even if the light's not on, he'll just sit there and look at it. Would you just look at it, Kurt?
It's pretty cool. It's kind of like that. It never gets old. It never gets old.
Now, let's talk about the stuff in this template that I just think is awesome. Okay. So number one, I don't care for his look and feel, but everything else I just love. So what I might do, if this is really going to be my first screen that shows up is I'll probably take some elements out of this and create my own sort of loading screen. And I'd like to figure out why the default is blue. So if I scroll up here in the tree view, and then I click on app, and you see that the start screen is set for the loading screen. Okay, and that's fine for now. I'm going to go to app on start. Yeah, look at this beautiful commented block. What do you think of that, Kurt? You create comment blocks like that, or do you recommend people?
It's a lot of dashes.
Yeah.
Or the slashes. I like the dashes myself.
And what's cool about this is we could, anytime we see a bunch of dashes, maybe we'll do the 4 or whatever, and we can start. I like instead of forwards, I think these are forward slashes, if I'm not mistaken. And the other direction is the backslash. Yeah. I like equal signs. For some reason, I don't know. I started doing that back when I started coding with you, Kurt, and that's always been my preferred way of doing that.
Equal signs are cool too. I like them too.
Yeah.
I don't like the forward slash. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little too much of a diagonal line, right?
Yeah.
All right, so he's got instructions here on how to set your own permanent, and I think with the exception of changing the forward slashes to equal signs, it makes sense to just keep this stuff in here. But here's his theme, okay? Microsoft Blue Light. So what's great about this template, I'm going to look for, okay, if I click here, it's going to show me, look at that. At the bottom of the screen, guys, there's that light blue. Mm-hmm. Okay. We can define colors in many different ways. So if I said color value, Kurt, you've got a good video all about color. Let's do something like, if we want red, there's the red, and we'll use zeros for everything else. I'm curious if that is the color that determines any new screen's fill. So in order to test that out, I'm going to say app, run on start. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now that's not a pure red. It looks like it's taking screen background. Okay, so here's something. If I hit Control C, I go back in app on start, and I'm going to search for that. So here, this is what happens. Okay, so look, he's got a color fade by 50%. So that's where that's coming from. Okay. I think I would want something like, I'm a little scared to just make this pure white. Because I don't know how it would affect everything. I'm going to hit Control Z. Isn't it great? PowerApps, this whole undo thing just doesn't work. Maybe it is. There we go. When it works, you're always really thankful. I guess you can only go back so many times. So let's make the this RGBA that, and yeah, that's what we'll do. To bring up the loading screen. Oh, look, now we've got red in our progress bar. I think I've messed things up. So I'm going to run the on start again here. Here we go. So, okay. I guess I'm going to go to the home screen. There we go. Okay, so if I click on this little eye, it goes to a dark mode. There's the light mode, I guess. If I do font, increase the font, let's see how big this can go. I almost wish there was a default. Like if I clicked on the A, it would sort of reset it. But that's interesting. It allows us to do that. Okay. Now, if I click on this, this is the universal icon for color picker. Now let's see what it says here. If I click on it, it's going to navigate. Okay, so this shows us our theme palette. And maybe I can pick different. Now, what do you guys think? Would you use this for a real project? Yeah, probably not. But the value is that you can customize this all. Now, if I click on the top one, so the second one, this is called Garish, and this is Microsoft Blue Light. Okay, and let's go to a purple. Let's set. I like PowerApps purple. All right, let's do that. Now I've got this little arrow. Maybe this is going to allow me to go back, and I think perhaps we don't. Maybe now, not too familiar with this template. I've just looked at it a few times. Okay, for as far as in components, I'll move us around so we can see this a little better. So there's the top bar. Here's a menu that is vertical that would be on the side. And here is a menu horizontal. Okay, so that's just a header, and then we do have two menus here. I was sort of hoping that these screens would have it. Okay, so the theme palette screen has it. The admin screens. Okay, look at this. We have a developer mode, hidden developer things. That's cool. So that's a lot like what I have in my template. I have a debugging feature, but I sort of like that he's broken this out into two different settings. And then your settings toggles here. So maybe he's like saying, hey, if you want to put some more settings in here, you could use that for that purpose. So we've got loading screen, we've got a home screen, a theme palette, and then an admin. And then what he has here is, what are these screens below? These screens that follow are examples of how you could use the pre-configured branding to make your content. These screens are optional, and you can safely delete them. Okay, so let's look at some of these examples here. So that looks a lot like the home screen. That looks very similar. Oh, okay. So these things down here are more. Oh, look at this purple bar. For a second there, I thought
I love it.
they changed it to like a pink or no. I think that's the regular purple that's up here. But because I have a purple theme, it sort of clashes with it a little bit.
The best thing that PowerApps has ever created is that bar.
That is your favorite feature by far in PowerApps? Is that what you're saying?
So much my favorite feature. Yep, exactly. I just could not live without it.
Ditto.
What's that, Lou?
Ditto that.
Yeah, we just love it, Microsoft. Please don't shut us down.
Kurt, you'll never make MVP now, man. A lot of times there's something that I'll select a gallery, and then I'll be like, oh, I want to select my header bar, but I can't because this thing's, so then I have to click on whatever I want to first and then select it. So let's look at some of these other screens here. Okay. So there's like different things. So that is something, a type of thing that I want to build in the template that we do.
It's a very purple screen. Very, very purple screen.
Very
I was
purple.
playing with that one. If you click on the top ones, it does different things.
So this right here, or
yeah,
the
if you click
tabs?
on the tabs up top, it does different layouts.
Okay. This is pretty cool stuff. If by chance Sancho is watching this, bro, this is awesome. Yeah, with or without the look and feel here, all the features that are in here are great. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. All right, so we have this. Now I'm going to hit F12. I'm going to create the file, and then I'm going to unpack it, and we can look at it. And then Kurt will say, just look at it. or not.
I'm going to say that.
All right. So what I am going to do is I am going to bring up VS Code backup. It's not that I want to modify this project. It's just I like using this terminal in here. And for some reason, I do have better luck with the command prompt because I'm not well versed in PowerShell. And then I don't want to see here. It's not what I want to look at. I'm going to copy that MSUp file into the tooling master. Go into that folder. Go into the bin folder. Go into the debug folder. Go into the SOPA. And I'm going to view this as a list. And then I am going to paste it here. And it's going to take a hot minute to actually happen. There we go. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to try to create a different folder there. So if we look at this documentation here, we should see nothing's ever simple or easy, is it, Kurt? Apparently their documentation isn't showing up for me. Either that or it's a user error on me. PowerApps tools. No, I want something called tooling. It is called PowerApps tools. So that should be it. That's a little bit of an issue for me here. Well, I do have all the documentation here on my hard drive now. So what I could do is open up the readme.md. I'm going to bring up Notepad. README. To unpack a set file. Okay, so here we go. And I sort of like the fact that I opened this up this way because this is actually going to help me out. Okay, so we want to modify this right here. Create a new one. I want to zoom in here. And the name of our file is very long, and I'm going to copy and paste that. Put it in double quotes there. And give it this folder name. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to copy that. Bring up my VS Code. And paste it. Everybody cross their fingers. Hopefully it works. Wah, wah. Bad parameter. What'd I do wrong? Am I in the right? No, I'm not in the right. Okay. So I'm going to say change directory ... And now I'm going to paste. You know what I almost hate when I watch videos on coding is that everything just works great. And I've got all kinds of errors I got to work through, you know? So it's like it's highly edited. They got all they probably got a bunch of errors, but they edited that stuff out or re-recorded it or whatever.
Or they scripted it. Yeah, they scripted it really well, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so that should be done. I'm going to move that away, and then I am going to go into that folder that was just created. And again, if you have that VS Code installed, you're going to right click in this white area here. And I'm going to say open with code. I'm just going to open up the whole directory with this code editor. Get rid of that. All right, so we should have some really interesting things to look at now, guys. So here's all the images. Oh, look, there's that image he has on the loading screen. I wonder how. That's 1366 by 768, which is typically the size of it's a JPEG, which is nice. So that's going to be compressed. If I go to logo, this is the logo. So we could change some of these images here. Sample audio. Okay. Sample image. There's an SVG file there. But really what's the most interesting in all this is if we go into source, and here are all of our files. Now, they're not in the order that we would expect them to be in, right? They're sorted alphabetically, and that's why. But there is our screen one, which we really haven't done anything with. It's just a screen out there. Here's our theme palette. Theme palette as screen. Okay, yeah, that's a screen called theme palette. Okay. So I might spend a lot of time in here. Now I'm looking for his MIT license. And I don't see any notice there. But I would like to make sure that he gets credit for this because it's just amazing. I'm going to go get the link to his website or that. Where's it at? Right here? Yeah. Get the link to that. And here's the on start. Oh, he's got the equal sign there. Okay. So everything after the equal sign is really the code there. So we could put something here. So there's that thing there. And we're going to say credit to Sancho. Ooh, look at this. I have something called Copilot from GitHub, and it helps you code things. Look at that. I'm going to hit tab. Boom. Isn't that cool? It's like having your own little Copilot in your code. I mean, not Microsoft's Copilot, but it's like, so GitHub has its own Copilot. It's a little different there.
That means I'm probably going to lose my job soon.
Wow, look at that. This is the branding template, V3. Okay. Let's see what else it can do for me here. Like, okay, it says the same thing as the other one. Okay. So just putting a little, I like to have some spacing in my stuff here, in my comments. And I'd also like to put in the link to his post. Okay. Copy the link address for the download in here. I'm going to put that in there. Okay. And then get the link to his blog post that actually discusses it. Okay, there we go. So let's say we made lots of great changes here. So I like what we've done here. What I'd like to show you guys is, hey, how do we package this back up and get it back up into PowerApps? Good question, right? I've always used this tool to break things open and look at it, but I've never really repackaged it and re-uploaded it to PowerApps. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do now. And this should be actually fairly easy because it's very similar to the code that we already have here. So I'm going to copy that, paste that, and the documentation here says to pack it up. Let's look at the differences. So instead of unpack, it's pack. You guys are quiet. Say,
Could you go back to the pack again? That pack set example, because I think there's something.
here on this documentation.
Yeah. So okay, so you got the to source folder. Then you're gonna go. Are you gonna put it in a certain spot? Any other spot? So you got the from source folder. Are you gonna put it any certain spot? Is there a folder, a to folder that you need to go?
Yeah. So this is the name of the folder where you want this MSApp file to be created in. So whatever it is you want.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it could be an empty folder. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put it there.
I believe it will create it even if it doesn't exist.
Got it.
Hopefully. Yeah, I would expect it to, but
okay.
Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So I'm going to add some more version stuff. So you can use military time to add on to this version number, like 11:49 a.m. EST. So it's going to create that in a folder called that. And I'm going to copy that and put that in here. Now I can just take that off. Okay. So we had unpack before. Now we're doing pack. So this should work. So we're going to hit Control tilde. And what I want to do is I was on change directory. I'm going to go up a folder, paste this, cross your fingers. Hopefully it works. No errors, big bucks, no whammies. If you guys remember that show. And it doesn't like it. Maybe I needed to go up another folder, perhaps.
It looked like it can't find the 1149 one. Maybe if you create that folder.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, we learned something new there. I got so many windows open, I can hardly keep my mind straight.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time keeping up myself right now with you right now. I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah. That's good that you let me know. I mean, I'm sure if you're having a hard time keeping up, other people are. So yeah, guys, feel free to slow me down. Whenever everybody gets really quiet, I'm thinking like, oh, this must be boring. So I start talking faster and faster. But maybe that's really not what's going on. Maybe people are like listening intently there. Brock says still Microsoft. Oh, so he said one way to troubleshoot the speeds of your copy paste, have it saved on your C drive, copy it to, let's say, docs folder, C drive. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a good troubleshooting tip. So did I create that folder? There's the folder right there. And what I would like to do is use Alt up arrow, which doesn't work here. I'm going to paste this again. Ooh, okay. Oh, I don't need to use Alt. I just use the up and down arrow. That's how you can bring up stuff. Nope, doesn't like it. A format is not support. Can't find Canvas manifest.
Can't find format is not supported. Format is not supported.
It doesn't like Canvas manifest. Well, this is a problem. It sources an old version. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he created this thing like, what, 2, maybe 3 years ago, and it PowerApps changes over the years, and I wish it was backwards compatible. So this might be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So if I go to the manifest file here, let's look at the difference between this one and one that I would hope would work. Let me try to do this here. Boom. And I'm going to have to. There's the Canvas manifest. I'll get rid of this. There's a manifest. All right, let's dissect this JSON file, shall we? This is the fun stuff, guys. We're rolling up our sleeves and we're looking at some code. Okay, so you see it's a format version. Yeah, it's the same format version. Okay. App from scratch. Okay. App description.
Hey, Darren, there is a difference there.
Yeah.
Go back. Yeah. It was the auto create environment variables. You got false on the left and true on the right. Line 20.
Ooh, okay. So that's a setting that
And then right
would
before
be
that, down below it, yeah, all that's changed.
block moving control. And I don't have any problem with the values being different between these two projects, but I'm trying to identify the file format.
Why?
So if I scroll down here. Oh, there's the screen order, guys.
Yeah.
But all this other stuff looks, yeah, there's publish info. Ooh, look at this horrible name. Oh, what is up with that?
It's a GUID.
Icon name sync. Icon name edit.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Um, I think what I'll try to do is figure out what's wrong with this file format. I might message Sancho um, and see if he's got any ideas on this, because if we're having the problem, I'm sure anybody else would be too if they downloaded it right now.
Sure.
Okay. Where'd we go from here, guys? So we've learned about this great tool from Microsoft that's open source, allows us to unpack and repack our MS app files. We've talked about maybe starting with this template. We have to be able to pack it back up, though. Otherwise, that's going to be an issue. Okay, I got something else for us to look at that's really important, and I think you guys will be super interested in. If you guys are a part of the group, you know, our new community here within school. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. If I refresh this page, what other things should we include? And so I've got GitHub open here, and I'm going to open up the Microsoft, all the repositories that Microsoft has here. Oh, well, they've got 6.2 thousand repositories, so maybe not. What's that, Kurt?
You know, Darren, if we could just put a bookmark there for a second. Brock Webb just came up with a good idea. I thought over here the side says, see if you can pack the first one. So see if that'll pack. That's not a bad idea, is it?
No, it's a great idea. So I am in.
Oh, Brock Fab, he's been on his toes this morning with his comments. They've been pretty good.
Sort of cool if he seems perfect to have in our accelerator group. Here. Okay, I need to go find the code, which is this. Rick, I still have your cough that you gave me. Okay, so I'm going to take whatever's in here, and I'm going to call it 2 app packed. And hopefully that works.
You probably took Rick's cough and gave it a gain of function.
Yeah. Yeah, it just won't go away. I think I had the cold like 2 weeks ago, and I still have this stuff going on. Bad parameter, directory not found. Okay. From source folder. Okay. I'm going to go here. If I can get my Windows Explorer to move. And it is called to source folder. Oh, it's called from source folder. So let's rename that, copy it, bring up our notepad, and we'll paste that there, and we'll try it again. And then I'm going to paste it in here. Hopefully it's going to work. So Brock says, embed watching on the phone. This whole Power App thing started because of work needing solutions. We are paying for the resources. Might as well learn. Absolutely. So your desktop tech, junior. Yeah. So we, so our accelerator is more like a smaller, tight knit group of people, where we sort of have a vested interest in your success. And we commit to you for a full year, and and each student comes with skills and knowledge and a walk of life that nobody else in the group has. So it's like this Kurt, I would say probably half the value that we offer an accelerator is their fellow students. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we build a network of really strong people from all walks of life and in different areas. Some people are really good at Power Automate. Some people are really good at systems, and some people are really good at coding. And so everybody's got these different strengths that they bring to the table. It's pretty neat. Not to mention personalities, not to mention passion, So it's really nice to have all that in one big spot.
Yeah. And Lou, you've been in the accelerator for a few months. Have you gotten any value out of the program so far?
Oh, tons of value out of the program. When my app went live, I was like, yay, finally. And I appreciate everyone's help in making that happen, because I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. And just learning and everything that I've done over time, it's been great.
I mean, it's a big difference between that and going through the University of Google and YouTube, right? When you're looking at videos in the middle of the night, trying to figure stuff out. Once you get into that accelerator, it all changes, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Because there is so much interaction there on a weekly basis that, if we have a problem or trouble, we can go in and put a message out or ask for the group or anything. And everybody's kind of there to support and pick everybody up.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
And if you guys don't mind me sort of sharing a little bit more information for maybe a minute, and we'll come right back to this. Key ingredient for the hundreds of people that we've helped dominate in their organization. With this one skill, you're able to simplify processes for countless tasks like tracking leads, doing inspections, logging attendance, booking desks in a shared office, generating reports, tracking employee performance, and the list goes on. If you have a project that you need to get done, or you're an IT professional or a developer, or if you plan to eventually do some freelancing work with Microsoft PowerApps, I am literally the only person you need to accomplish your goals. Spreadsheets and all the old ways of doing things are becoming redundant, and the people who are able to build PowerApps are going to accelerate their professional career so much faster than everyone else who's okay being average. I have over 20 years experience as a software developer and have been working in PowerApps for over 3 years. We have lots of course material for you, but if you're eager to accelerate your expertise with PowerApps at a much faster pace and want to work directly with me, this is what me and my team are going to do for you. Number one, we're going to figure out exactly what projects and skills you're working on and the overall end goal. Number two, we're going to get clear on exactly what data sources are needed for your projects. If it's a particular project with a deadline, we're going to work with you to make sure that you meet that deadline. And number four, we're going to work with you to make sure that you master the platform. So not only can you finish any projects that you're currently working on, but the projects that come up in the future. And you might want to take those skills and become a freelancer in the future. If that sounds like something that you're interested in and you want to expedite the process of being able to build apps that can literally be used for years, and you want to be an important asset to your organization and any future companies you work for, click the button below and we can have a 15-minute chat about what you're needing and how we can help. All right. So it did work, by the way, to apppack.msapp. All right. So now what we need to do to fully, complete the cycle here is we need to upload that MSApp file. I'm going to copy the directory there, and I'm going to try to get back over here to PowerApps. I'm going to save what I have here. Well, my browser's doing something a little weird. You see how I got space above that purple bar? That's weird. All right, so I'm going to hit Control O and browse. And I'm going to upload the new MSApp file, which is somewhere in here. Here we go. Refresh is required. Okay. And there it is. And it worked. So any Kurt, is there anything else that we should talk about while we're here? I know I've got a few other things to show everybody here today, but you had mentioned re-uploading this. So if there's anything that we should sort of fully flesh out before we go on to the next thing.
Well, I mean, so I guess we still haven't got that one that you created, that other one created to work yet. So that's something that we're gonna have to investigate the difference. So it does work. The pack formula works. It's just something that we did different with the modified one, right?
Mhm.
So I guess
Yeah,
unless you don't want to go down that stream anymore, because I was thinking maybe you had the file wrong, the from source folder wrong in that. Maybe I didn't know. But if you want to continue that Pathfinder, we can go on to the stuff that you wanted to try to do.
Yeah, the problem I have with this one that we encountered is it said that it's file format for this manifest file, and that's what was holding it up. So I don't know if I'll be able to figure it out
Okay.
within 10 or 20 minutes. So um, something that would so yeah, we'll definitely circle back around and figure this out because I definitely want to use this template. Um, and I'll I guess release a video where we'll talk about it in a future live stream of how I got that to work or maybe what Sancho says about it. Okay, so there are some other repositories that I think are going to be very useful here. So here within GitHub, what I've done is I did a search for Microsoft as an organization with PowerApps. And we have PowerApps tools, which is what, well, look at this. There's tools and then there's tooling. That looks a little different, doesn't it? So I'm curious which one we were just, I think it was tooling is what we were just, tooling for support, PowerApps language and MSF files. And this one, unsupported PowerApps tools and apps. That sounds experimental and fun, right? Let's see what's included here. Oh, there's labs for app in a day. Let me go down and look at I don't know why the README isn't coming up. So for here, okay, this does have a README. So maybe that's what I was looking at before. I'm like, hey, where's the documentation here? So I'd like to go in here and see if there's anything that we might want to use. Okay, look at this. Barcode generator, calendar component, color picker component. This sounds like some cool stuff to put in ours. So we got all that. And then I'm going to go back to our list here. Power App samples. I want to look at that one. Test automation. Here's the team's templates. Look at that, Kurt. Power Apps Azure Lab. PowerCat Creator Kit. This is some really, so this is just going to be an ongoing thing. I mean, there's like so much. What's that?
Connectors.
Yeah. Hacktoberfest. 30 days of Microsoft. There's a test engine. So, and then there's 3 pages of this stuff. So we got tons of things to look at. Something else that we could look at that would be fairly exciting.
Could you put that link up into the chat so that we can get that?
Absolutely. I'll do you one better, which is, yeah, this. I'll give you the search query parameter there, so you guys can click on that, and this is good stuff. Okay. Now what I want to show you is with or without GitHub. Looking at this this web page here, this is the community, Microsoft's community. Look at this, galleries. Now, is that a gallery control? No, this is a gallery of apps that you can look at. And I just clicked on it and it took me to the root of the community. There's a lot of weird, buggy things about this community site.
I'm glad you put site in there. I thought he was going to
What's
stop. I'm glad you put site at the end of that. I thought you were going to stop at community. There's a lot of buggy things about this community. I'm thinking, at least said site.
Okay, so look at this, community apps samples. Okay. Okay. We got April Dunham and other people. So Deepak, he's got a YouTube channel. She's got a YouTube channel. So these are really good sort of pillars of the PowerApps community. A lot of these guys are MVPs and have been helping people out in the PowerApps community probably for years. But we could take some of the. So I'm gonna give you guys this link as well. And so there's the creator kit sample sub menu. Yeah, we could go in all kinds of like here's the top kudos. So we'll get this sorted by how many upvotes it has. So so look, we got Matthew Devaney's collection cookbook. And I didn't know that he had this as a file. So I'm curious what this. Okay, so he's got the thumbnail, he's got the MS app file, and there's Sancho. Okay. So this gives us like tons of ideas. I'd like to take the classic. I don't know if I should call it classic, but when you're in PowerApps, you got a bunch of app templates you can look at, and they're old and crusty and sort of don't work. It would be sort of cool to create our own version of. Well, I'm going to save this before I do anything. Repacked. Do that. And Kurt, you and I are going to have to be really good at this YAML format, because there's all kinds of things that I feel like you and I could do for the community that would really help people out that are using these things. So if we go home within PowerApps, and then we go and we scroll down, I was expecting the templates to be here, but here we've got this link. Start with the PowerApps template. And now we scroll down. So all these templates here, there's like issues with them. So we could download and fix them, and then provide examples of all these. So, they can work for people, So that's an idea as well. So guys, I'm gonna open it up to you as far as an ideas of where we should go with this project. Like, what's the newest feature? What's the next feature that we'll implement in this? I'd love to see what you guys say in the comments, and I'd like to identify the one that's like the most popular and work on that next. So, guys, have any thoughts? Kurt, Rick?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
People pay big money for this.
$2. They pay $2 a month. Is that big money? So, okay, guys. Well, I would imagine the burning question in everybody's mind is, what video should you guys watch next? So you're going to like this video next. Let's see if they're right. Or you can select this playlist, which I've selected for you based on the content you're currently watching. Guys, got to hurry. Click one of them. Otherwise, YouTube's going to autoplay some other video. But you probably